What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Sandbox Media, coming at you with a video talking about EA and Respawn Entertainment, which is a studio that they recently bought. The news was announced a couple of days ago, so it's kind of old, but we did want to have it up on the channel. And essentially what EA is going for here is they're going to be paying Respawn Entertainment $151 million in cash, up to $164 million in equity, and then based on performance and all that stuff coming up in the future, it goes up to another 104. What is it? What'd you say?
It could go up to an additional 140 million.
Yeah, so tons of money being thrown around here. Basically, like $300 million in cash, from what that's the way I understood it.
Yeah,
so that's
possibility
a
for it.
Ton of money, over $250 million.
Yeah,
that just shows you how much money is floating around in this industry. So we wanted to talk about whether or not this was a good move on EA's part, whether or not it's a good move on Respawn Entertainment's part, and what we expect to see from them in the future.
Right. So I'll start off with talking about EA. In my opinion, I see why EA did it, because they just shut down Visceral Games. So they need somebody to take their place, basically. And ultimately, you know, buying out Respawn is a good move for them, because, you know, Respawn's proven themselves with their first two Titanfall games. Titanfall 2 was reviewed extremely well. Unfortunately, that game just did not sell well because, for whatever reason, they decided to release it beside Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty, which, you know, that's not a good move. That game, if it would have come out in the summer, it would have killed, I bet.
Oh, yeah, and I got my own little theory about why they released it that window. I think it's because, if you remember, Infinite Warfare was launching when Titanfall 2 was, and Infinite Warfare is the most disliked video on YouTube. So
that is true.
In my opinion, I think that's why EA pushed that. I think they were thinking, hey, maybe we can knock COD off the pedestal a little bit if we release two games like back-to-back like that, close to COD. Maybe people will jump in bed with us versus, you know, Activision, but obviously that didn't happen. Even though Infinite Warfare didn't sell nearly as well, it still sold a fuck ton of copies.
Yeah, World War II, they said it's already sold more than
more than double. Yeah, more than double in like the first 3 days.
Yeah, first 3 days. So that's crazy.
Yeah,
but do you think it was a good move for EA?
Yeah, it was a good move on EA's part. I'm glad that for those guys at Respawn, because those of you guys that have watched our videos in the past know that I have a soft spot for them, because they were the ones that came up with the Call of Duty formula as we know it today. So I think it's a great move on EA's part. It shows that they actually know how video games operate and how developers work and stuff like that, just in terms of obviously they've, like you said, proven themselves with Titanfall. The games weren't bad themselves, it was just EA's stupid asses that released it in front of Call of Duty that caused those sales to sort of plummet. So I'm glad that they can actually look into the actual quote-unquote art of it, and they picked up a couple of a really good asset, in my opinion. So great move on their part.
Yeah. So EA's getting Respawn, and Respawn's actually currently working on a Star Wars game also.
Yeah, I actually didn't know that.
And a VR game, so EA's letting them continue production on both those games. So
yeah, it's essentially basically nothing is changing on Respawn's side. Nobody was laid off, which is another thing that was mentioned, which is great. I mean, obviously that's priority number one for a lot of people, not to lose their jobs. Right. So it sounds like basically EA is just going to be quote-unquote a holding company of this developer. So a great move for them. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you're fine. I'd say Respawn probably had this stuff written up, and you know, you have to keep all of us, and you have to let us continue to work on what we've already got set up.
Yeah, I mean, why fix something that's not broken?
Right. So, do you think on Respawn's end, do you think it was a good move for them?
Yes, I do think it was a good move. The only bad thing about it is they're obviously an EA studio now, so basically EA kind of dictates what they do. You know, they have the final say in everything, which it kind of sucks when you give up your freedom for that. But at the same time, I can't blame them. That's a shit ton of money, and I would do the exact same thing in that situation. So I think it's a great move. Yeah,
so I think in Respawn's position, I think it was a bad move.
Really?
Yeah, I would not have been bought out by EA. Maybe somebody else, but not EA, man. EA is one of the worst publishers out there. They will push games out that are not ready. It's happened to Mass Effect. It happened to Battlefield 4. We'll see what happens with this new, the Destiny killer. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, Anthem.
Anthem, yeah. Well, I mean, EA's got a history of pushing out games that are not ready. So we'll see what happens. I would not have sold out to EA. Maybe sold out to somebody else, but you look at the money, I understand why they did it. You know.
Yeah, like I said, I would take it too. And you have to think they've been working with EA pretty much exclusively since they've been a studio. So I trust their judgment when it comes to like whether or not they want to continue working with EA. And if that relationship wasn't good, I feel like they would have not taken that deal, obviously.
Yeah.
Especially since nobody's quitting. I mean, it's the same team that's going to be working on everything. So I trust their judgment. But you do make a great point. I mean, they do push out games, unfortunately. But that's just part of the business. I don't know who else they could really get with that wouldn't do that, to be honest with you.
I don't know. I mean,
Activision I don't know. Activision does the same shit, I think, kind of.
Yeah, but I don't think they're near as bad about it.
Yeah, probably not. You're right.
You know, if I was Respawn, I would have looked at maybe Sony or Microsoft before I would have. EA probably wouldn't have been as much money. I don't think. Maybe there would be. I don't know. But Sony, I don't know how Microsoft works, but I know with Sony's Naughty Dog, Guerrilla Games, you know, these companies are making completely and totally new games. So Sony's giving them free reign to do what they want.
Yeah.
So I feel like, you know, one of those two companies would be like, yeah, you've proven yourself with your first two Titanfall games. We want to see what you can continue to do and, you know, be as creative as you want. EA, I feel like, is going to say, no, you're going to make a Star Wars. No, you're going to continue a Titanfall series. If you're getting burnt out on it and it's selling, we don't care. You're going to continue to make it. Which, you know, is probably a good reason why I wouldn't sell out to Activision either.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they've got 3 different companies pumping out Call of Duties every year. So I would have sold out to a Microsoft or a Sony, or just stayed on my own and just worked with those companies.
Yeah, that's a great get for. That would have been a great get for Microsoft, honestly.
Yeah,
it would have made
it'd be one that they need.
That would have been awesome for them if they could have gotten that. But
Microsoft's known for shooters, and
exactly.
Respawn's
that would have been great.
proven to make great shooters. So
yeah, but from Respawn's perspective, you would almost be hurting your player base there, because you're obviously, if you sold off to either one of those, Sony or Microsoft, you would only be making games for their consoles.
Right.
So that would have been kind of shitty. But you know, it still, people would still play your games, obviously.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be that big of a deal.
Yeah, that is very true.
So where do you think, where's it going in the future? What do you see? Do you think Respawn's going to be successful? You think this is like going to play out 20 years from now? You think they're going to be one of the premier studios like Bethesda?
Yeah, so this is why I wouldn't have sold out to EA. I think, you know, you've got, who is it that makes Battlefield?
DICE.
Okay, so you got DICE. They make really good games. Battlefield 1 was solid.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have near the issues Battlefield 4 did. I just worry, you know, Respawn, Titanfall 2 didn't sell real well. What happens if Titanfall 3 comes out and it's not quite ready, but they're like, no, we got to hit this date. You got to push it out. You can patch it later. If that game is shit when it comes out, then you can kiss the Titanfall series goodbye. Nobody will buy it anymore.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Titanfall 3 is probably going to be a great game, just because hopefully they've learned their lesson in terms of where to release it, because I truly feel like that's the only reason why Titanfall 2 didn't sell great.
Yeah.
We've established this at this point, so we'll see what EA does in terms of that. But going into the future, I'm really interested to see what's up with this Star Wars game. I'm also really interested to see what's up with this VR title that they're working on, because obviously I think it's safe to say it's going to be a shooter.
Yeah, most likely.
Because this obviously it's everything they've only made shooters, so why would they make anything else?
Right.
So I'm really interested to see, and I think in 10, 15, 20 years, I think VR is going to be where it's at.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just curious to see how this VR title, that's the most intriguing part about this to me. It's not even Titanfall or the Star Wars game. It's just the actual VR title and whether or not it's good, because something me and you have talked about, both of us have been selling our VR headsets just because there's really not a whole lot going on in that space. So I'm really curious to see, because it's a AAA studio, and finally we're going to get a good shooter, because I know.
We hope.
Yeah, exactly. We hope. But like, that's what I'm saying. Like, my confidence level for this studio is super high because of the quality of content they've put out here in the past.
Yeah, I agree. I would like to see, you know, a really good AAA VR shooter. That would be great. Right now, the only real good AAA VR game that comes to mind for me is Resident Evil.
Yeah.
And
look how well that did too.
Yeah, it did. I didn't play it personally because I'm a little bit of a chicken, but from the people that I've talked to that have bought it and have played it in the VR headset, they absolutely love it, and it scares the shit out of them. So
yeah, and that's what you want from Resident Evil, right?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, guys, that's going to end the video here for us today. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please drop a comment or something like that. We'd love to start a discussion about any of this stuff. And we hope you guys are going to have a great Thanksgiving. It's coming up.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I just want to apologize to everybody. I just had my second son, so that's where I've been. He's doing good. Our family's good. So
yep, great
we're
to
all
hear.
Happy.
Yep. All right, guys, take care.
Peace out.